Hey y'all, what's up? Today it's going to be the long-awaited Why I Self-Termed from Disney.
I'm on vacation tonight. I'm gonna leave you behind. I'm on vacation tonight. I'm gonna lose my mind with someone
So, for those of you who don't know, which is probably everyone because I didn't really post it a lot on social media, at the end of my program in spring of 2016, I did self-term, so I was supposed to stay until August and I ended up staying until May. I had a lot of reasons for this, and I kept telling myself that the biggest reason was because I had just gotten into a new nursing program, and so I went home to start doing my prerequisites. But in all honesty, I really went home because back in March I had gotten really just I don't know. I went down to Disney thinking that every day was going to be great and every day was going to be amazing, and honestly most of the days were, but there were a few days that weren't, and I just didn't handle those days as well as I could have. So looking back now, probably would have been fine, and if I had stayed, everything would have been different. But I did leave, and that was one of the biggest regrets I have to date, just because it was such an amazing program, and I made so many good friends, and I just had such a good time there. But I left because I couldn't handle being alone all the time. So during March, we had kind of hit our mid-program slump, kind of like a mid-semester slump, but like mid-program. And so we were all pretty much just focused on working and sleeping. And so it was raining a lot. We didn't go to the parks a lot. I remember we had a few monsoons almost, and it just poured. So we would stay home, and a lot of days I would stay home by myself because all of my roommates worked days a lot, and I pretty much only worked nights. So I just remember it being a lot of alone time, and I didn't really know how to handle being alone like that for a long time. Because when I was at college, you walked down the hall and there was someone you could talk to. But being at Disney, yes, it's very much like college, but in the aspect of the social part, you have your apartment, and that's really, those are your close friends that live right by you. Otherwise, you kind of have to go out of your way and stuff, and it's just not the same. So, I do remember, though, when I was going to leave Disney, I was telling one of my good friends, I was talking to her, and I was like, I don't know if I want to leave anymore. I really think I should stay. And she said to me, she was just like, well, this is kind of late to be making this decision, but if that's what you want, I'm sure you could make it happen. And she was right. It was really late. It was 3 days before my mom came down, and we were gonna have our little vacation of a week, I think, and then her and I were gonna fly home together. So I remember I had tickets on Southwest too, so I definitely could have pushed my date back to go home, but I just didn't want to. I had told my mom I was coming home. I had 2 jobs lined up coming home, and I had my classes lined up, so I took my EMT class and 2 prerequisites for nursing over that summer, and I'm very glad I took them because it's made it a lot easier for me now moving on with my nursing career. But at the same time, I know I could have not taken them and it would have been just fine, and I would have still been able to go into nursing school, and everything would have worked out just fine if I hadn't taken them and if I hadn't left. So a lot of me really regrets leaving Disney. It's probably one of the biggest regrets I have in my life. So if you're thinking about leaving your program, really think about why. Is it because you went to Disney and you expected every day to be magical? Because every day won't be magical. Some days will be kind of terrible. Some days will be just okay, but you're not going to have a great day every day, and you can't expect that. Just like your job isn't going to be the most amazing place on the planet. It'll be good. Don't get me wrong. I loved my job, but you'll have bad days, and just because you're at Disney and you're living in Florida doesn't mean you won't have bad days. So I think that was the hardest thing for me, was realizing that sometimes you just have a bad day and there's nothing you can do about that. So that's a lot of why I left the college program. If you're thinking about leaving, don't do what I did. I pretty much just left, and my team leaders knew, but I didn't technically tell them I was self-terming. I kind of just left. So I don't recommend doing that. Yes, I do have a phone interview in a few days with them, and yes, it is highly likely that I'll be able to get into a program again, but it was just a really terrible thing to do to a company. You know, as a team leader where I work now, if someone were to do that, I'd be really upset with them. And it's not how you should leave. You should tell them you want to leave. You should have open communication with your team leaders about what you want to do. But going on, I'm moving back to Florida, hopefully. So I finished my LPN in June, and I have like a long list of why I want to go back, and they're all on my computer over there. But honestly, I typed them up during class, and I have a pretty good idea of what they are because I stared at them during class for 3 hours instead of paying attention during my 6-hour lecture today. So they're up here. They're all in here. So my biggest reason for wanting to move back is that I just miss Disney. I miss being in Orlando. I miss the warmth. I miss my friends down there. I miss going to the parks when I wanted to. I miss going to the beach. I miss being able to go hiking and kayaking and swimming and biking. And all of those things that up here in upstate New York, we really don't get to do for half the year because it's freezing. And when I say freezing, I mean freezing. The second part goes on with that whole freezing thing. Alright, so as I was saying before my memory card decided to fill up, the biggest reason I want to move back down to Florida is missing Disney. But also, I hate the weather in Western New York. So this is New York City. Up here is Albany. And you go over, and like here's Canada. I live here. Right here. Near Canada. Like an hour and a half away from Canada. It's so cold. Who thought living near Canada was a good idea? Oh, my parents. Love you, Mom and Dad, but like, come on. It's so cold up here. So, I am a huge outdoors person. I go camping and backpacking and hiking and stuff all the time. I have a kayak. I have a road bike, you know. I have it all. Spent way too much money on all these outdoors things. But I love them. I go outside all the time. And I love just being able to be outside. My favorite place to be is the beach. But, you know, I said I was up here. The beach is, like, over here. Like, we don't have a beach near us, which is really sad. My first time going to the beach pretty much was when I was in Florida on my last CP. And that was also my first time, like, living in warm weather. And I loved it. There were times when I hated the warm weather. Like, when I was working in Disney Springs and one of the bathrooms decided that the AC could be broken for like a week and a half, and that was my bathroom for most of that week and a half. And you know, when you go into the bathroom and you just have to like go to the bathroom, wash your hands and leave, it's fine. But when you're in there and you're like trying to sweep all the toilet paper off the ground and you're trying to refill the toilet paper and you're trying to clean the toilet and refill the paper towels, it's too hot. It gets so hot in there because you're just in there for like 20 minutes trying to clean with all these people like being angry at you, and it's just, ugh, I hated it. The worst part of working custodial was that, the dead hot bathroom. But I digress. That'll be another video, probably in like a week or so, about like pros and cons of custodial, why I loved it, why I hated parts of it, you know, all that fun stuff. But yes, so the warmth is like number 2 reason, and the last reason, probably won't make sense to people who are here just for Disney, but if you are a fellow nurse, you will understand this. The Florida scope of practice is huge compared to the scope of practice up in New York. So we can't do IV push drugs, we can't do nasogastric tubes, which is like your NG feeding tubes. What else can't we do? We can't do a lot of things, is what it comes down to, up in New York, because there's a ton of RNs up here. So they don't need us to do as many things, but like down south, they don't have as many RNs. So the scope of LPNs is a lot larger, which is like a scope I want to be able to practice at. Like LPNs can work in the ED and they can work in acute care there. Where I live right now, you don't see LPNs in acute care or in the ED or in the hospital really. And that's the setting I want to work in. LPNs in the south can also work with pediatrics, which again, not a huge amount of LPNs work in pediatrics up here. Like, you have to be the top of your class LPN to get that job. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But I hopefully will be able to get a job down there as an LPN by 2019. And then I will start going back for my RN in the spring or fall of 2019. And yeah, I'm looking at colleges down there already. I know it's like super far planning, but I'm a planner, as you'll see in one of my organization videos soon, I'm sure. I love to plan things. I don't really like doing the things, but I love planning them. It's a real issue. Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. This is going to be the kickoff to my channel again. I'm hopefully going to be uploading more regularly. When I left Disney and kind of when I was at Disney, I was like, I just want to live. I don't really want to take the time to vlog. But looking back, I regret that so much because I love watching the few vlogs I have. Just because they like remind me of happy times and they like remind me of all the experiences I had while I was down there. So I'm hoping to get back into vlogging. I will be starting up my channel again soon, so check back here more often for more nursing videos, more Disney videos, and just general life things. Maybe I'll throw in some camping videos, some hiking videos, some photography videos, some how I started my small business, you know. We'll just have a whole hodgepodge until I go back down to Orlando. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit subscribe if you liked this video. And if you like Disney and nursing videos, hit that thumbs up button. Thanks again. Bye, guys.